Hey, thanks to our resubs kicking us off this morning. Sergeant Pepperhand coming in hot for almost 4 years. BK Sting, thank you for the 22 months. Been good playing Dark Legion with you. Appreciate the continued support. The Wizard of Roz, thanks for being a wizard in Hoaglandia for the last 9 months. Good morning, good morning. Put the poll up on the YouTube channel, and then we'll dive on into some games, huh? My Monday's off to a reasonable start. Kids got out the door to school with no problems. And a very, very hot weekend here in the Midwest. We were back up over the 90s Saturday and Sunday again. Absolutely, BK. Exacto. Thank you for the 27 months. Good morning, good morning. Darth, thank you for the 19. Thank you for the partner wishes. Apparently, I've been doing this for a decade now, Twitch tells me. It was very different 10 years ago becoming a Twitch partner. We didn't have these very clean, clearly defined metrics you had to hit to make it. It was like you just like threw your application into a black hole and hoped that someone liked you when they caught it on the other end. All right. We have some babies. So this Pokeball is 5-6 to get us something we'd be happy to put an energy onto. There's one. Oh, good. We can't brick. Can't brick. 0% to brick. Do I keep my bed small? I think I do, yeah. To start, at least. I think I keep it small to start. So Kobola here. Rolling tackle hits for 70 for 2. And when this is in the active spot and gets energy, it falls asleep. So we want to charge the comatose koala bear up while it's on the bench. So we'll go ahead and attach a dark energy here, and we'll go ahead and crack them for 70. And if they don't have a Cape or an Irida, we knock them out in theory next turn. And if they do have a Cape or an Irida, we'll play the Arceus out. We'll probably play the Arceus out regardless, honestly. Do you have any thoughts on Memory Light now that some time has passed? I think it's a fantastic card, but does it help some Pokemon become more relevant? Ultimately, Memory Light has not ended up in any competitive Pokemon Pocket decks, no. So we're basically at a point where anything that's going to be competitive from this set is pretty well known, and there's no Memory Light decks that are putting up results. So we'll do this. We'll do this. I want to pause and think for a second. What am I putting a cape on and why? I think I want to put the cape on the koala so that way it doesn't die to 2 Greninja hits. I think is my plan. Really good aggressive open for us. Kobola showing that it's not just an anti-Oricorio card, although it also does that for this deck. Being able to just like hit for 70 on your second turn when going first on the back of all these babies. Very strong into Suicune when they don't have their sustain. Aww, our opponent died to a koala while playing the best deck in the metagame and they salted off. Love some sodium to start the morning. What a baby. What a baby. And here I thought I had all the babies. Turns out my opponent was an extra one. TC Patter, thank you for the 6 months in advance. I really appreciate you taking advantage of that September discount and planning to be around here. I plan to be here. Thanks for the support over the last almost 3 years. Twitch's partner program may have changed the last 10 years, but these gamers certainly haven't. Absolutely not. Why is Giratina Suicune so good? I mean, Suicune Greninja is the thing that's really good. Most of them play a Giratina, but not all of them. Our salty baby has left the game. Lovely, lovely. Easy dub. Thanks for the game, salty baby. Greninja is just one of the most powerful cards in the game consistently with a lot of utility, and Suicune helps you draw to it more consistently. Second, we have Baby into Arceus. Opponent is playing Metal Energy. Interesting. Oh, they're the... What's his name? Solgaleo deck. There's been some Solgaleo lists floating around. If you've missed the most recent meta report last week, we talked about this one there. They're playing Suicune and an Entei, just 2 of the legendary dogs they can't attack with to assemble their stage 2 more consistently. As opposed to like Sylvia and stuff we've seen in the past. I think I power up the Arceus, because this way if I top deck a red, we can clear them. And honestly, even if I don't top deck a red, I can hit them with Ultimate Force, so the following turn the Darkrai chip shot clears it. Morning, Dairy. What do we think of waiting for a turn? Because if I put the Arceus up and they have Solgaleo, they hit the Arceus, and then I hit them and attach an energy, and then I don't have another attacker ready. I think I want the Koala Bear ready to attack. And then this way, if they have the Solgaleo this turn, which is likely, right? Like, they're over halfway into the deck. So if they have the Solgaleo and they kill the Mantike, I can move the Kobola up and hit them for 70, and then they can take the Kobola, which is only their second point, and then we'll prize map 1/1/2. That's a nice flexibility this card gives as well with these babies. This card has such good utility here. Like, it's a good aggressive start. in some of the spots like we saw in the Suicune matchup. But it's also an anti-Oricorio card, and it lets us prize map 1/1/2 in spots like this when that's ideal. What's your highest points to the ladder this season? Why do you care how many points someone has had on the ladder in a given season? Do you ascribe value to the content creator you're watching based on how big their arbitrary number is? Big Green Monster, thank you for the 22 months. I appreciate the prime. Welcome back. Yep, so here's the Solgaleo as expected. They'll take a KO. I guess I don't have a good plan for beating second Solgaleo here. It makes me sad whenever I see someone get offended that I answered their question with a question, because it means they've likely never had a very good teacher in their life. Good teachers don't just tell you answers to the things that you want constantly. They help you think critically about why you're asking the questions you are, and help you gain a better understanding for what the goal of what you're looking to actually learn is. Alright, so I have a copy of Lily here, but I'm actually still clearing this Solgaleo next turn, yeah? I get to go ahead and put Arceus up, and then I get to play Arceus on the bench, and then Darkrai does 20, and then, this is 130, yeah? You play Pokemon Pocket Offstream? I do not. Not in, at the start of the season, I do sometimes, but once we're this far into the season, I build decks and I open booster packs, but usually I don't play too many games. My most played off-stream games these days are Once Upon a Galaxy and DC Dark Legion. You know, things I've been poking at the most personally. Cape for red. So I don't really need to cape for red here, because I'm going to die to red regardless, because the only way I win this game is by maneuvering around my 140 HP Pokemon, and they're gonna catch up to me one way or another. Oh my gosh, is their other Solgaleo buried? There are two cards left in their deck. Oh my gosh, their other Solgaleo is buried. How unlucky. This is the dangers of a stage 2 deck, I suppose. And the 150 with Arceus plus Darkrai is real clean. None of their things could survive there. Also, just so we're clear, Slams on the YouTube side, I banned you from the channel. YouTube actually doesn't tell you when you get banned, so I like to make sure I tell people when I ban them. You're not a good culture fit for this channel if you're gonna get upset when I answer your question with a question. Go bother someone else. And if you wanna just like point an example for why I asked, why do you care what someone's number is? What's that? Oh, refresh rankings. When was this last refresh? This was last refreshed a while ago. All right, holy crap. All right, so why do you care how many points someone has? This is a good example. So this person has 9,925 points. Let's start for a second and assume that this person never loses a game of Pokemon Pocket. So they've climbed 8466 points this season. Yeah, but I want to pull our 84. How many points do you get per win? I'm gonna be honest, I haven't paid enough attention. Do the win streaks build up? Do you get 13 and then 16? So you get 10. So what's the win streak bonus though? Is it 13 and then 16 and then 19? And what's the most points you get per win? How does it work? I literally don't care about my number at all, so I don't pay attention. Master does have win streaks. Yes. Okay, so the internet says you could get plus 12 points for a win streak. So let's assume this person with 99.25 literally has never lost a game. At 22 points per game, it would take 385 games to get to this many points. 385 games post Masterball. So how far into the season are we? So it started on the 28th. So the 28th, 1, 2, that's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 18 days, 385 divided by 18. Okay, so assuming this person never loses the game, it takes them, it would take them 21 games a day, never losing a game to get to this many points. Which honestly isn't that many, right? Let's say like, it's like 8 minutes a game. That's 100, say that's only like 3 hours of Pokemon Pocket per day. Which that's very realistic. However, this person is absolutely not winning 100% of their games, right? And when you lose one game, it sets you back a ton, right? Because not only do you lose the 22 point, not only do you lose 10 points from losing a game, but you also break your 22 point win streak, which means your next win is only then 10, then 13, then 16, then 19, then finally 22 when you get to 5+ wins again. But just like even under the completely unrealistic assumption they're never losing, it's still an immense amount of Pokemon Pocket. It's always funny to me the value people ascribe to the ranked numbers. That's not even a unique Pokemon Pocket thing. You see that in Marvel Snap and Magic Arena, all these other games where like the only thing they're measuring is how much you play. None of it measures how good you are. Oh, that's sad. I guess we'll open on Arceus. Or I guess we'll open on Darkrai because they have a fighting energy. I do have 2 copies of Leaf in my deck. So in theory, I could top deck a copy of Leaf. In theory, I could top deck a copy of Leaf and then Pokeball into a baby. Although my opponent has the audacity to play the good Phanpy instead of the bad ones. They could kill my baby. No copies of Leaf. I'm gonna put another Darkrai on the bench. I think the game plan here is power up Arceus, and then Arceus plus Red plus Darkrai gives us the ability to hit for 170 in a single turn, which does clear the stage 1 on this in one shot. It's gonna take them a few turns to power up and clear my lead Darkrai here. Well, they're playing a split on Phanpys. Sure. Is there an MMR or rank system out there that is a good representation of skill? So the reason why none of these games, whether they're Pocket or Snap or anything else, the reason why none of these games have rank systems that actually measure skill is because ranked systems that actually measure player skill discourage people from playing the game. So systems like chess, where you have ELO, it becomes optimal for you to stop playing the game at a certain point because the odds of you increasing your ELO are lower than the odds of you losing ELO by losing to someone with a worse rating than you. And you got to remember, the ladder systems in all of these games, they're engagement drivers. They're not intended to tell you who the best player is. So the reason why they don't measure skill is a feature, because if they were measuring skill, eventually it would be optimal for you to stop playing. And it's so interesting. Like, for me, someone who has a lot of experience in the industry, like, it's very apparent what these systems are doing. But it's every game I've ever played, people always put a ton of weight into, oh, what is your ladder rank? What is your rating in this game? And it's like, well, in reality, that doesn't really matter. You're not measuring anything important. Asking what your ranking is, or acting like it matters in a game like this. And for the record, this isn't to say that people who are ranked highly in games like Pokemon Pocket or Marvel Snap or others are bad players. It's just to say the person who's ranked first in Pokemon Pocket with their almost 10,000 points, they're not a meaningfully better player than someone who's probably ranked 100 or even 1,000. They just play a lot more. So these systems don't let bad players get to the top, but they also don't ensure that people at the top are good. If that makes sense. Unfortunately here, I'm gonna have to top deck my second copy of Red, or I think we're cooked, because they had 260 point monsters here. Leaf actually lets me get around this unless they have a copy of... So Leaf here means unless they have a Cyrus or a Sabrina, we actually can win. So we'll Leaf the Arceus out, letting us keep the energy on it. And we get the chip shot in with the Darkrai here. And then next turn, I could retreat this and Nightmare Aura them again, and then finish with the Arceus. Obviously, we're dead to a handful of supporters here, but we're not dead on board with the Leaf Draw, which is nice. Red and Giovanni also beat us as well because of the Lucario in the back. Wait, did they click the wrong button? They memory light misclicked. That's so funny. We've all been there, gamers. The memory light where it puts the attacks on the user interface is really atrocious. I was looking over to chat because I assumed we were dead, but yeah. Do 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 do. we're going second. I'm gonna lead Komala here. Slide these friends out. So, I do not have a series of draws in my deck here that allow me to attack with a baby this turn, unfortunately. I would need a leaf or a baby already in hand. Well, we've got some babies in hand now. I think I'm leaving them in hand for now. I think we're just powering up the Arceus, yeah. Cape here is a little unfortunate for us because it means that Cape means that red doesn't clear the Suicune. I think I'm just hoping that Komala lives a hit here. Obviously, if they go bench Pokemon, they get to clear it out, but if they don't clear the Komala this turn, we're in a pretty reasonable spot, I think. Ugh. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Cooked. Cooked. Okay, so I think I'm not playing out extra bench Pokemon here because I want this to not take damage to the backswing. I'm not killing them regardless. I can only do 150. And if I do 100, I can still fill my bench out and clean them out next turn. Here's why I'm doing 90. That's still fine though, right? They're only hitting for 40 at most, so they'd be at 110. Doug Pie, thank you for the 2 years. Appreciate that. Thank you everybody for the partner well wishes this morning. Crazy to think I've been partner here on Twitch for a decade now. With the Greninja, we're probably dead. Oh, we're gonna get Cyrused. And then we are just dead. Or Sabrina, the other punish for our thing. And then this is taking 80. I need to top deck my Leaf now, right? We've got 1 and 4 to do that. If I top deck my Leaf, we could still win this game, assuming no other Cyrus. That's pretty unlucky game for us. We had no Leaf to start, no baby to lead on. Opponent hit all of their bench Pokemon to be able to clear the Komala. And if one of those 3 things break differently for us, it probably goes better. I think that Suicune EX is going to have staying power like Darkrai Guillotine. I think all 3 of the legendary beasts are cards we're going to be seeing for the foreseeable future. The three of them and Sylveon adding consistency to the deck that you play is a really big deal in a small deck game like Pokemon Pocket. First, Zera. What's the plan here? I think I actually really want a Komala here. So I'm going to research before I Pokeball. Because drawing a basic that's not Komala increases the odds that Pokeball finds a Komala. And obviously we didn't, but we still got it, so that's great. And then what's the game plan here? I think I just load my bench out to play around hand disruption. And then our curve here should be pretty clean. We get to go ahead and go Toasty Toss onto the Komala. And then next turn we go Dark Energy on the Komala, move it to the front of the class, crack this for 70. And then the following turn, Darkrai can finish it with its Chip Shot, and we can deal 70 into their second thing. Joltik. There's a name I haven't heard in a little bit. So we're going to put this energy on it before we move it to the front of the class. Crack him for 70. The Comatose here means you fall asleep if you get energy in the active, so you can't start on this one without having a pretty large risk. Oh, that's cute. So they can flip a coin to keep me paralyzed with the memory light. That's adorable. How do I... There's a way to see what's under this, right? Can I not see it? It does 10, right? It does 10. Oh, is it this way? Is this there? That's it. Flip a coin. If it's opposed, yeah, it only does 10. All right, I don't need to care. It's a fun 1-2 punch from the opponent. I don't know how they kill my follow-up thing. I don't know what, like, they don't have another Pokemon to put energy on. So what they're doing is neat, but they just like die to the Darkrai, yeah. In fact, I'm gonna put a cape on this. That way they have to put an extra energy on this to get the knockout. I don't want them to get to kill me with the deal 10. Bad beats for the opponent too. Their turbo paralyzed deck queued into Arceus. Luris. Speaking of being here for an eternity, thank you for the 113-month resubscription. I appreciate the over 9 years. Welcome back. Hope your personal sphere is doing all right these days. Okay, so my assumption here is they retreat this for free and then clear with the Zera, but then the Chip Shot here can clear the Zera and then we clear the Galvantula, so they need another basic. And in the event that they do get another basic set up here, the Magby can come up and get knocked out, because this is only 1 point. The Magby can power up the Arceus, and the Arceus doesn't get impacted by special conditions. And I don't know how they do anything meaningful from here. Because their Zera dies to a chip shot. Like, obviously, they can attack me, but like, if they get another bench Pokemon behind it, he's at more than 80. Go Rim! Thank you for the over 2.5 years. I appreciate the very generous tier 3. Luris wasn't printed back. You know, honestly, I feel like I should hurt myself a little bit. How old is Luris at this point? Obviously, it's not 9+ years old, but it's gotta be getting close. Yeah, it's 4 or 5 at least, 6. But someone tell me what year Luris was printed in Magic the Gathering. Heartless, thank you for the 22 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Only in 2020, so 5 years ago. That's it? 2020 was just 5 years ago? I'm gonna be honest, that's more recently than I was expecting. Alright, well, this deck has been fun and neat. We take a brief pause for the cause to let some adverts roll. We're gonna play some more of this when we get back. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Don't go anywhere, gamers. Yeah, I definitely didn't parse it was the same year Haley was born. You're watching on the YouTube side, you're enjoying the Pocket content. The best way you can help get some more of it without spending anything is tapping that like button every day when you're in here and we're streaming. Or you're watching the daily videos. You can check it out, don't go anywhere. I changed my name when I decided to start streaming some games and didn't want to use my IRL name. Imagine using your IRL name on Twitch.tv. What kind of idiot would do that? Speaking of time flying, I got a great before and after shot. People always ask when they see me bouncing on the bike. This isn't quite a 5-year difference. This is it's about 2 years. And you can tell I've still got the polo shirt. I don't have any polo shirts that fit me anymore. Haven't worn these in a while. The toddler got a little bit bigger and I got a little bit smaller. Conservation of mass. Yeah. I actually lost more weight between these two pictures than she currently weighs. As an added context. It wasn't quite a full translation there. Yeah, some differences in the background stuff there too. Speaking of 2020, those COVID pounds, eh? Can we get a baby? We can. Lovely. We've got a bunch of looks at Pokemon to charge up here. Lovely. Perfect. Guaranteed basic that I want. Thank you, kind opponent. So Arceus is primed and ready to attack next turn. Might be a quick one. I didn't fill out this last bench slot yet, because a lot of these Tapu Koko decks are playing Oricorio as their Pokemon behind this, so ideally I would like this to be a Komala over here. Hit me! Hit me! Oh yeah. There's 2 copies of red in the deck that we are playing for a reason. And that is because, you want to be able to clean out things like this in one shot. Red plus Darkrai means your Arceus can jump up to 170 against EX Pokemon, which is just so much damage. Our opponent, Speedy Fast, probably appreciates the duration of that game, I imagine. Water energy, assuming there's a Suicune in our future. Tina lead is good for us. So there are 3 babies and then 6 attackers left in our deck. So we're 2/3 for this Pokeball to find us something we're happy to Pichu an energy onto. And then obviously we have a draw step as well. So 6 out of... Woo! Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, opponent. Appreciate you. Darkrai, notably having a colorless energy in its attack, which means that a single energy from one of these babies means we get to start attacking with it next turn. Which is quite nice. The old crackly toss. Thank you to the Mars for helping us find a basic Pokemon here to attack with. Yes, the Darkrai is going to hit for 100 plus 20 from its thing against Tina here as well, which is nice. Hoping to draw a copy of red so you can KO this. Just Leaf, dead. We're not playing out other bench Pokemon because of Suicune. Unfortunately, our aggressive deck does not have room to play ways to grab this Tina back up. So they're gonna pivot into Suicune here. They're hitting us for at least 60. See if we could dodge. Could not dodge the frog. I think that probably means we're dead. Really need fast Arceus in this matchup. Yeah, with the Greninja plus a full bench, I think we're done here. I guess we could draw. I could draw Arceus this turn. If I draw Arceus this turn, we can charge it with the baby and then clear the Suicune in one. I don't think red gives us any outs. We get it for 120. We needed this one last turn to clean this, and then, well, honestly, we'd probably still be in trouble. Definitely, this feels like a matchup where we need the Koala or the Arceus to start. We want Koala when we're going first. We want Arceus when we're going second. Why are people using red card Mars on turn 1? Because if they're bad enough at statistics to put the card in their deck to begin with, they're not going to understand the optimal time to play it inside of the actual game. Ghastly Enjoyer. Oh, baby. We've got a bunch of looks at Arceus and Tina here. We get to draw for the turn. We get to draw with research. Then we have 2 Pokeballs. And again, I'm only looking for basic Pokemon at this point. So I'm going to research before I Pokeball because it maximizes my chances of finding basics. I'm going to just get a nice full bench this turn, ideally. I think I leave the last bench slot open for now because the last bench slot being open means that I can slide a Darkrai in here next turn. Part of me wants to play the Cape to get it out of my hand to make hand disruption worse. But at the same time, I'm not sure if I want the Cape on the Arceus or the Koala yet. Could go either way. If they're playing Baby Gengar, they could crack us for 50 this turn. I think if you wanted to fit a copy of Cyrus in this deck, you'd have to give up your copies of Red. Which is why I didn't include. You have to give up like a Red or a Cape. Maybe you could give up the second Cape. I can see that being okay. Geo, letting them clear the baby. Seems good. And their EX Gengar, even if they have it, just takes so many energy to attack at this point. They've got no tempo on the board. Or just geared up and ready to beat him down. Oh, that's cute. So that lets them get the Gengar down and then attack before they get to the 3. I guess if they have a bunch of copies of Lily here, they might be okay. Maybe the Darkrai draw is good because it means we get to get extra damage in. This is why I was saving a bench slot. I'm dealing 150 per cycle now, right? So even Lily's not enough. They would need even with like Lily potion here, they only get to 120. So they're still gonna go down. I guess if they have like a copy of Leaf and they could put up another 1-pointer, they could buy a little bit of time. Did you miss Lethal there? Gengar's Pokemon ability says I can't play my supporter out, video gamer. We're not that far off of spoilers for the next set, yeah? We should get those on Thursday or Friday morning. I checked out Once Upon a Galaxy from your stream last week, and it's been a solidly fun game. It's so much fun, Tori. Galaxy's been one of my top off-stream games lately. Fucking a lot. I'm gonna wait on playing the Pichu out here because I think ideally my bench slots are Koala and Darkrai. Since we played against the Sylveon deck, it's been poor Sylveon Espeon's been pretty pushed out this season. Did not age well. Definitely want to put a cape on the Mantike here, so that way it doesn't get cleaned out by a bite next turn. Leaving my last bench slot to give me some flexibility here, but very likely to play out another basic before we attack with Arceus. Yeah, Suicune getting to consistently... This deck gets so many quick wins. This deck that we're playing is probably a very efficient laddering deck. You like, between hitting for the 70 on turn 2 and hitting for 130 on turn 2, like, so many games are functionally over so early. Oh man, if we luck into, what's the master points where you start next season higher? Is it 1675? If we get there accidentally, do we move to playing unranked? Probably. I'm not really trying for it, but our decks have just been good recently. Fellow baby enjoyer here. What's our line to beat a Dragonite? This matchup seems tough for us. The Darkrai can chip shot the babies at least, I suppose. I wonder if it's like get some chip shots in while we do work through 2 1-pointers with them. Could be the line. Been doing the double Umbreon deck and it's been fun to get through Ultra Ball. Are you doing a top meta decks video anytime soon? I mean, that's kind of what the meta report was last week, yeah? I guess I didn't assign arbitrary tier letters to them. It's maybe a somewhat fair critique. If they have the Dragonite on curve here, I think we're in trouble. I guess they need, like, Lyra for it as well. I guess it has been almost exactly a month since the last formal tier list. Maybe we can do that. Gamers love them. Love them arbitrary tiers. I think Sylveon Espeon EX will withstand the test of time. I mean, it's literally not withstanding the second season of the game for it, so I think you're probably incorrect. Had miserable sats this season into a bunch of the top decks. September 9th, almost a week ago. Is that a week ago? Yeah, last Tuesday. It's a good top decks roundup type thing. Yeah, we'll get to a formal tier list later this week. It's a good suggestion if people are looking to round out their stuff. God, we're so bad at drawing red or drawing leaf. Gian Russo, thank you for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back, appreciate it. Second, so we have all of our friends here. Again, just gonna leave this third slot on my bench open because I want the flexibility to play a Komala here potentially. With first energy advantage here, our opponent should be in a real bad way. Especially if we find a copy of red, the game probably ends on the spot, which is why we're playing two of them. Definitely charging up Arceus here as our big hitter. Should you play a second maybe to play around Repel? Repel and Sabrina aren't super common these days. Maybe against Dark Energy it's slightly more likely. Could maybe be an okay argument, but... yeah, powering up the back Darkrai makes sense. I really need a copy of red here. We're only 1 in 6 to find that, though. I guess they need a copy of Leaf. If they don't have a copy of Leaf, I can clear with the Darkrai chip shot next turn. Usually these the opponent's archetype has room for a copy of Leaf. Ocean will do it too. What do we think about Leaf into full health Pichu charge Darkrai? I think I'm into it. Rather than let this take a hit. This forces them to have either Leaf or another piece of healing this turn. Okay, here's the Leaf. Now, do they have a cape to not die to Arceus plus Darkrai? Punish for not playing my cape out. Tail is oldest time. Or not, you know. Whatever. I don't have cape, but they do have red card. That they do. That they do. Yeah, kind of feel like they're cooked, yeah. Research. Cape. Darkrai shot. Now, they could have a Guzma or a red here. Definitely in their output range. I don't think we're in a spot to play around those. Giovanni. Dawn. Yeah, that one could get us too. What a classic. What a classic game of Pokemon Pocket. The long pause. So people, for those wondering why there's always the long pause like that before they play the easy, obvious card that wins, they have to set their phone down and do a lap around the room because winning games isn't a common experience for them. So they gotta get their celebration in. Damn, I was always the opposite of slow rolling in paper card games. one of my favorite experiences in Magic the Gathering is when you were playing the control deck, and you'd just be like, your opponent would be playing like the aggro or the mid-range deck, and they're like deep in the tank trying to figure out how they can get out of the game. And you just be like, all right, but I'm just gonna play with my hand face up, and you let me know when we're done here, right? You just like turn over the 2 removal spells, the 2 counter spells, and the sweeper. They're like, oh yeah, we're done here. It's just like, all right. This is the complete and total inverse of the slow roll. No, I'm gonna let you know that I have it, and we can just be done here and go to the next game. Okay, we have a copy of Leaf. This is about 50% to find us a baby. So if we find a baby here, it's exactly 50% to find us a baby with this. Can we win our coin flip? Never won a coin flip in my life. Certainly not about to start today. Chris, thank you for the 76 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning. You know, I wonder if playing the other Darkrai out was wrong. Maybe I'm just supposed to play this and build up energy on it. Is Kobola here for the Oricorio counter? So Kobola is a very flexible card in this deck. So this game here is a good example of one of the reasons why Kobola can be good, is if we would have hit our baby here, Kobola would have allowed us to hit this for 70 on the second turn of the game, being very aggressive. It also answers Oricorio cleanly, and it allows our decks playing baby Pokemon to have a 1-1-2 prize mapping, where you like give up a baby Pokemon, give up a Kobola, and then have your finisher at the end. So it's not just as straightforward as, okay, this counters Oricorio. Like, it does that, but it also like does a bunch of other utility stuff that adds up to being a good card for you. And this is the punish I was talking about for... This is the punish I was talking about for putting the Darkrai out, is how they get to clear this one. Although I suppose I actually need to put the Darkrai up to active here, because I can't put an energy on this without putting it to sleep. So I suppose the first part of our sequence here is, if our opponent has Candy Ninja, we're gonna be cooked. Because if they have Candy Ninja, they're gonna kill the Kobola this turn. If they don't have Candy Ninja, oh wait, I can cape, right? Does cape let me live? Cape lets me live, actually. Maybe we have a shot. And just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away this shot. So they have a combination of cards that could beat us here. It's like what, like Giovanni or Guzma plus Candy plus Frog. They can Irida as well. Irida is not as much of a slam dunk because it gives me extra time to build up energy on the Darkrai. So the problem, like, obviously we would prefer to knock out their Suicune, but Irida's not as hardcore, oh, I'm losing the game instantaneously as what's it called is. I think we're probably dead here again. Oh, you know, I probably should have read it last turn, but I don't think that matters. I just realized chat on the YouTube side is just for subscribers, not YouTube members. Unironically, that might be the singular most confusing thing between Twitch and YouTube as a platform that get used so closely by so many content creators. The fact that subscribing on YouTube is the equivalent of following on Twitch. It's free, but subscribing on Twitch is a paid premium thing. It makes the jargon very, very awkward between the two. All right, I've got one more loss to me with this one, I think, and then we're going to move on to the next one. Do you enjoy or have time for Hollow Knight or Silk Song? I don't know how any reasonable adult has time for a game like Hollow Knight. My video game time, especially off stream, is super precious, and any game that punishes me by wasting my time is not something I remotely enjoy or have time for. I don't mind games that require me to get good or practice to beat a boss fight and, like, get the mechanics down. But, like, games like Hollow Knight that make you, like, walk back through a big segment of the game every time you die to the boss are just not remotely for me. Give me a checkpoint before the boss so I can lose and then try again and then lose and then try again. Anything with a run back is instantly disqualified from my potential gaming time. Ooh, Sylveon Dragonite. All right, we need so what? We got 2 babies, so there's 75% hit attacker here. Lucky. Now, the question here is Arceus going to be able to, actually be able to clean through here? I don't know. If they have their Dragonite on curve, it might not be able to. Because they put the EV up, we clear that, and then the Dragonite's going to be ready to go, and it's going to clear by Arceus. Dratini to the front of the class is not what I was expecting here. This is a very large mistake on my opponent's part. Definitely their game to lose, and it feels like they're throwing it. They absolutely should have given me the EV. I guess they could have Lily into Lyra. Maybe they probably have Lyra in hand and we're focused on wanting to have a bench Pokemon to pivot it with. If they have Lily here with it, the Komala is not going to be enough to punch it down unless we top deck our second red, which is unlikely. Yeah, they're just cooked. Yeah, I think in that instance, even if Eevee is my opponent's only bench Pokemon, they're probably supposed to put it up so that way their Dragonite can be full health there. Letting it take a big hit there is a lot of downside. How's it going, gamers? We ended up a good chunk of points inside of Masterball playing today's Dark Babies deck. I honestly think this is a fantastic type of deck for laddering with in Pokemon Pockets. You win so many of your games so quickly. Your baby Pokemon with Kobola, when going first, lets you start a cracking for 70 early, which in tandem with red and extra chip shots from Darkrai on the bench adds up very quickly and closes out games before your opponent gets developed. And likewise, when you're going second, these baby Pokemon can charge up your Arceus EX to start cracking for 150 as early as the second turn of the game, letting you quickly clear out things like opposing copies of Suicune and other lead EX Pokemon right away. If you enjoy competitive off-meta decks being explored in Pokemon Pocket, make sure you're subscribed to Hooklandia Pocket on the YouTube side for highlights like this one. If you enjoyed this particular brew, make sure you smash the like button on today's video. For the rest of the day, have fun with this one. All right, I think that's enough with that one. We need to take a quick pause for the cause to let some adverts roll. I don't want those to happen over the middle of a game because that's super rude. I think we're gonna do this pile of cards up next. I've enjoyed. Oh, I got a matching Raikou. I remember we got. I've enjoyed these Raikou decks. How do you spell Pokemon names, anyways? So we got two rainbow Raichus and two rainbow Raikous. So I'm gonna roll the ads, then we're gonna dive onto some games with this one. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Don't go anywhere. If you're watching on the YouTube side, smash that like button like we just reminded you in the intro. It doesn't cost you anything, helps the content reach some more people. Appreciate the folks that are here bright and early for some Pocket content. We'll be playing for a little while longer before we switch over to Snap for the afternoon. Oh, by the way, for my folks in the audience who enjoy Once Upon a Galaxy, we're going to be playing some more of that tomorrow morning on stream, but I have a giveaway from the folks that make that game. I've got 6 1100 gem codes. If you want to enter in the giveaway for the Once Upon a Galaxy codes, it's in the Discord server. You just react to the post in the announcements channel like we typically do for giveaways, and I'll pick some winners. Oh, that's the wrong. That's actually not. That's whole screen. The Discord link is right, but I need to update the giveaway command. Whole screen one was done last week. All right, that's updated. I'm irrationally upset that the season pass only gets one copy of the alt art. Zero Aura is so cool, but only having one is sad. Whoop ball! Thank you for the 17 months. Welcome back. Yeah, the way the cosmetics in this game are handled in general really makes me appreciate Marvel Snap more. Your channel has such a mixed impact on my health. On one hand, you inspired me to get a standing desk and a bike, and that's been great. On the other hand, I finally downloaded Once Upon a Galaxy last night. I was going to play a quick game or two before bed, and then I was up till 5 a.m. Oh, gamer, make sure you sleep. I've definitely had a couple of 1 or 2 a.m. nights in the Galaxy queue, but 5 a.m. is intense. It is definitely a peak just one more game. For sure. We're going second. I want to lead on the lightning dog here. Oh, you let out a frog? It would be a darn shame if someone were to electrocute it. I think I'm chilling on the professor's research for now. If I hadn't drawn the Pikachu, I would research to dig for it. But the only thing this hand is really looking for at this point is a copy of Raichu to evolve this into. So I don't think there's any reason to, like, inflate my hand up to 5 cards and, like, get red carded or Marsed or whatever. This might seem a little weird, but I'm actually going to go ahead and elemental switch now onto the Raikou because I don't want to lose it out of my hand. And there's a possibility that happens. I'll play the other Raikou out on the bench. There's still 2 turns off attacking with this. I think I'm chilling on the cape for now. Nah, I'm gonna put it on the Raichu. Let's just get it out of the way. And then we'll hit this. We'll hit this Suicune for... We'll hit this Suicune for 80 and the Froakie in the back for a little bit. Make it Cyrusable. I just hit my second 2-star Raikou. I hope this pile is good so I can use it. There are a bunch of genuinely good Raikou decks. I think this build is very reasonable. There's the Magnezone build that I use for a lot of my Masters time. That's very good as well. So with our copy of Cyrus here, we're going to go ahead and clear the Froakie out to grab our first point in this instance. And then even if they put something up and clear the Raikou, our Alolan Raichu in the back is geared up and ready to go for a massive blast. Maybe I'm supposed to spread damage onto the Tina, actually. I don't think the extra 10 matters here, right? Thinking about the breakpoints. interesting slash amusing specific data point in that got shared in the Discord server this morning. There's been a lot of talk about turning down the rhetoric in the United States with the political violence that happened. And here's a nice, really clean, objective measuring stick. These are emails from official congressional members describing someone as evil in their official communication from politicians. And the blue are Democrat communications, and the red are Republican. What's the time frame about these? They look like 9-ish month time samples going back to 2010 all the way over here on the left. Just like, as someone who's like very informed on reality, like I know that like that's the case, but it's nice to have a source. So there's a source here. So I'll link the Blue Sky post. There's a link underneath it. There's a website called DC Inbox where you can enter a search term and then visualize it. Even this one, right, where they're closer, describing people as a Nazi. Generally speaking, the Republicans are using that word way more frequently than not. Does it include signal chat? So there's like communist. Oh my, look at how different the graph is. Using communist over 700 times for 400 times. Like, political violence is very bad, but the right-leaning party of the United States almost wholly owns the escalation in it. I love me some first energy advantage and a Raikou to start. Oh baby, oh baby. It's interesting to me that the legendary beasts really incentivize 2 points into 2-point cards because of their drawing power, but the most prevalent deck in the meta is Suicune Greninja. I mean, that's just a testament to the fact that, like, Greninja is such a powerful card, right? Also, I think it's worth pointing out that the Suicune Greninja deck is often a 2-point into 2-point deck. Generally speaking, Suicune Greninja doesn't go Suicune into Greninja. It tends to go Suicune... it tends to go Suicune into Suicune or Suicune into Giratina. And Greninja just kind of rides shotgun as a support, letting you get extra damage in on your Suicune breakpoints. Husky Pete, thank you for the 22 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, well, with weakness, we technically get clear this Suicune in 2 still. Looking for some more basic Pokemon. Lovely. Now, two copies of Irida is very, very stock in the opponent's archetype, so we'll not be surprised if we don't get the Suicune knockout here. But they're also 2 energy off of being able to attack us, which is nice. So predictable Irida. I suppose the problem is my Pikachu just dies to the Greninja hits here, yeah? The Cyrus can tempo them? having a Raichu here is really unfortunate. Our cape was a card late as well. Usually the opponent's deck does not have room for like X speed type cards. We're not playing out more bench Pokemon because I don't want their Suicune to hit harder. I could technically attack with this with Elemental Switch, but it's only doing 110. So I think I'm just hitting for 80 because then we're still clearing through an Irida next turn. Now, the upside here is they're not going to have any energy. They've already played both their Iridas, and they're not going to have any energy left to attack with after we clear this Suicune, right? Oh, I died too. That's sad. Okay, I threw this game. If I would have switched to the Raichu, I wouldn't have been dead to double Greninja hit, right? I'm leaving there because their whole deck is in their hands. So they're gonna beat us with second candy into other Frog next turn, even though they can't attack. Damn. Yeah, I should have pivoted to the Raichu. Okay, we have the Raikou lead into the Zeraora in the back with the Elemental Switch here. We'll see how good this Shinx is at hiding. If the Shinx doesn't hide successfully, we get to clear it next turn with the Switch. Cyrus is a nice pull because it means that I can pull the Shinx up to the front. The second's very aesthetically pleasing. If I had a second full art Zeraora, this deck would be borderline perfect. It's so sad we don't have more of them. If they don't have a candy here, they're in a lot of trouble to this Cyrus. Yeah, we're gonna get to take our first point. And then any EX knockout cleans things up for us from here. Put energy on here. Zetwi Raichu is technically ready to go if we draw it, thanks to the electrical cord. And with the bullet here, I actually get to put 10 more on the back Raikou, so it goes down to a 60-pointer as well. Just cooked. We did not hit our 2-star Pokemon Center lady yet, though. Unfortunately not. I wish they did some active balancing in this game. Yeah, as much as I would love active balancing, I think you shouldn't hold out hope for that. There's a pretty next to 0% chance they ever do balance passes in this game. Raikou on the lead, Zeraora on the bench. Things you love to see. First energy advantage as well here. The game gets updated every month, so it's kind of like a balance pass. I mean, the game getting new sets every month is what's kept me engaged with it, despite there not being balance passes for it, for sure. Do I want another energy from this? Probably. Because I have a Raikou and I have a Pete Raichu already, so might as well do this. Is the latter literally just Suicune? I mean, it's probably about half the games anecdotally. Oh my god, I don't have a good objective measuring stick, but my anecdotes are about 50%. The dark pattern's good content got me. Thank you for the half a year, Red Trunks. Or the quarter of a year, and for the half a year in advance. I plan to be here. Thanks for keeping me around. So let's draw a couple of cards with this and see where we go. The latter is 50% Suicune and 50% Greninja. Listen, I wasn't gonna say it, but if you're gonna say it, you're probably right. I'm burning an elemental switch here just so I can get out of my hand in advance. Do I want to tag the Suicune? Dealing 10 to the Suicune doesn't really do anything, right? So I think I'm going to put the other 10 on the Froakie just to give me some flexibility with the Cyrus. $25% to find a Cyrus. Who am I keeping and why? If I keep the Raikou, it means they have to spend their Water Shuriken here unless they have a basic. I don't hate that. Their deck playing Pichu, and it's not. One card late on the Cyrus here, unfortunately. This does not save them from a low and Raichu. Okay, so this might seem crazy, call me maybe, but I don't think they can beat me having a Cyrus next turn. So I think I'm playing out every card out of my hand I can possibly play, just so red card and Mars are least likely to deny me Cyrus next. So I should have put the energy on here if I was doing this. I think I just play them all out. So that way when they inevitably red card or Mars me, we're most likely to have our finisher for the following go. Because what? We'll have a total of 8 cards, and we'll have 2 shots at 2 cards. So we'll have a 1 in 4 and then a 2 out of 7 if they Mars me. This plays around Team Rocket Grunts, that's true. Alright, so they're cooked. They're cooked. Come to Papa. Psychic doing electric damage hurts my 10-year-old brain. Make it make sense! Make it make sense! I went for a walk this morning, then I missed the Bieberl deck. I decided I wanted to win games this morning, so we're not playing the Bieberl deck. Maybe next time. We're going first. I actually don't have to put this picture out. Steak Nerd, thank you for the half a year. Appreciate that. Welcome back. Win games. Wanna try hard? I know. I know. Nice hand scope, Gibber. Stiggy, thank you for the 64 months. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. I'm gonna leave our last bench slot for a Raikou, potentially. About 1 in 3 to have a Raichu next turn. We'll put the Zera Aura up just in case we brick it. 'Cause if we hit it, we can always retreat to it. Or more likely to not have it than we are to have it. Put this other Pikachu out to play around a Sabrina, taking away our thing. Alright, we missed on our 1 in 3 last turn. Can we hit on it this turn? I need a Raichu. Need a surfboard to smack this dog. I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. Eddie supporter. Show me Eddie supporter. I'll do pig and I'll do. Gotta make sure you get that needless evolution in before you play your card that wins the game. Fighting energy lead. That's scary. We have first energy advantage at least. Rampardos is probably a tough nut for us to crack. I had to venture, I guess. That's nice though. We need them to not hit heads next turn, so that way Still Valley doesn't clean us. I guess we could find a copy of Cape still. A few draws at that. Grass baby when? Asking the real questions. Sure. I guess this exposes me to a Cyrus later? Especially with the extra XP in my hand here. It's like, yeah, this doesn't really matter. I'm gonna X speed this out, and I'm gonna burn. I like burning the elemental switch early a lot of the time. Just not let it get caught by hand disruption. I'm gonna put a cord on here, so this way, if they have Rampardos, you get to keep some of the energy from it. The 10 points of damage on the fossil actually really matters because Rampardos deals 50 to itself when it takes a knockout, putting it down to 100. So putting 10 on it puts it down to 90, which means Raichu clears it with a Psychic because it does 90 to something with 1 energy on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this opportunity to burn this Cyrus to clear this fossil out. Am I? That's so close. I think I am. I think it's... Is it? I guess they would need double Candy and double Rampardos. I probably shouldn't leave them the Type Null. They didn't have the evolution last turn. I changed my mind. I'm gonna clear the Type Null and then... Yeah, I'm gonna clear the Type Null and put 10 on this other Skull Fossil. Putting a cape on this Pikachu so that way the Raichu survives a Skull Smash through weakness. Gets it up to 160. We have 2 Raichu and 5 cards. We have 2 draws in it, so we're a 40%er and then a 50%er. Hey, Elias, thank you for the half a year. Appreciate that. Welcome back. If they don't have the candy this turn, I think we're done. They either need candy or they need to get rid of my Raichu. Okay, they might get rid of the Raichu. I have 3 draws at 2 of them. What a just shockingly useless card. Ooh, chat, if we win the next game, we get to 1675, which would mean we get to start next season at Ultra 4 instead of Ultra 3. Okay, we need to take a brief pause for the cause, but this deck has been good and fun, and I want to get some more games in with it, so we're definitely going to be playing this when we get back. I'll throw the deck list up on screen during the ad roll. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Don't go anywhere. If you're watching on the YouTube side, you're enjoying us always exploring off-meta decks while playing Pokemon Pocket. Make sure you tap the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps the content reach some more people. Appreciate the folks that do that on the daily videos. Oh, no, my water bottle is empty. I'm gonna run and fill that up real quick. BRB. A really interesting anecdote point from the partner anniversary on Twitch is getting to see how many of the viewers using the pre-populated well wishes use non-English language that watch the stream. It's kind of neat to see such a good range of audience. What other concepts for babies do you think could be interesting to implement? The energy rampers are neat, but imagine babies that have moves that function like supporters. Oh, you mean like drawing cards and stuff? I don't think I understand what you mean by function like supporters. All right. We're going first. One of the things you'll notice I do is there's never a reason to play out your bench Pokemon when going first before you draw your card in this game. There's nothing my opponent can do to disrupt my hand when I'm going first. So I should play my lead, and then I can fill out my bench on my turn once I like draw an additional card to have a little bit more information. If we hit an elemental switch here, which we have 2 draws at, we are so firmly in the driver's seat. If we miss on it, we could still be okay, but we'll be a little bit less off. So we're 1 in 6 to draw the elemental switch directly, and then we're 1 in 6 to draw a research that gives us redraws at it. So about 1 in 4 here, thereabouts, to have our best possible start this game. Do pig, that'll do. And now they need a bench Pokemon and Candy Frog to clear the Raikou here. Okay. I don't want to give them a point here. So if I give them a Zera, if I give them a Zera, they win the game when they knock out the Raikou, which is not tenable for us. X speed is lovely. Put a cape on here so it doesn't die to a single, what's it called, hit. And we'll spread this damage out so that way Cyrus is most likely to get us a game win here. So now we're in a position where they're dead to Elemental Switch, or they're dead to Elemental Switch or Cyrus, assuming they charge this. And they're putting us down to 1 card here. I just it's hard for me to put into words how statistically bad red-carded Mars are. And I get it, all the cool kids are jumping off the bridge, so you think you should jump off the bridge too. But really, don't be like the cool kids, chat. Just don't do it. It's terrible. All right, I want to play a bit more this morning, but honestly, I think we're gonna pivot to the unranked queue. So for reference, I wasn't trying to get here. We just ended up playing enough. And if you finish the season over 1675 points, you get to start the next season a rank higher. So, like, I wasn't gonna, like, sweat and try to get here, but I think now that we're here, we just get to sit. Well, maybe we'll have a little variety too. So far, over half the games I have that are worth showing for this deck are against Suicune, so maybe we can play against some other stuff in the unranked queue. I'm pretty sure it's 1675. Most of chat told me 1675. A couple people said 1650, but I haven't actually looked it up. So you should double check before you make a decision to play more games. Twitch chat seems pretty confident in 1675. I mean, I did the bigger of the two, so even if it's 1650, I'm still Gucci. It might be cooked here, gamers. We actually started with the opponent's deck this morning. Really sweet, aggressive build. Alright, that's step one and maybe not being cooked. Maybe. We technically live a full bench Arceus hit here, but if they're playing the same build we were playing earlier, they're on 2 copies of red, which complicates things. Man, that's tough. Yeah, we just didn't know. GG opponent. Needed a Raichu built up to potentially have some counterplay there. Did not. So, Raichu does 120 to Skarmory, which is 100 through Steel Wing, or 50 through a copy of Adamant, or through a copy of Jasmine. Adamant's minus 20. Thanks, I think. All right, and then the hope here is that we find a copy of our copy of Electrical Cord, so we can push energy back to this Raichu. I've talked about this before, but one of the design choices they keep making in this game that honestly really bothers me is I really hate that they switch the weaknesses Pokemon have between their baby and regular versions. It's very silly in my opinion that Baby Skarmory and EX Skarmory have different weaknesses. Raikou and Zera both die in 2 to Skarmory either way, so like I'm just putting Zera up. It means I don't draw cards, but I think that's fine. Our deck would be so beautiful if we had second full art Zera. You know, it's funny. This deck pulled us up to 1675 on the ladder, no problem. But we've kind of had a hard time against the non-Suicune decks. This seems like it's probably a decent metagame deck, but we've had a real scuffed games into things that are not the best deck. I'll play a couple more here and see how it feels against the other half of the field. But yeah, someone said, is there a UI glitch the opponent's not playing Suicune? We switched to unranked because we hit 1675, which locks us up to start the ladder at a higher rung next season. I'm gonna be honest, this is the huge upside to the in-rank queue. I don't really want to play against Oricorio. Like, if you want to play a card that unfun, you should go play ranked. Zero thanks. Go next. I'm not locked in a room here with you. You want to be toxic, go somewhere where they're locked in a room with you. All right, if our deck's taking requests, I would like a Zera Aura on our first draw. And Elemental Switch on the second. This game's so easy. This game is so easy! Oh, I guess I technically have 2 draws at the Elemental Switch, yeah. And redraws after the fact. All right, so about 1 in 6, so that exactly 1 in 6. Loosely 1 in 3. Charge this up, and then if they clear Raikou with the Raichu in my hand, if we hit Elemental Switch, we could attack with the Raichu next turn. But they do need a bench Pokemon, which they now have, and they need Candy Frog here as well. So 1 in 5, and then a little better than 1 in 5 to hit my elemental switch. And we have 2 redraws in there as well. So we're about 40% to like basically win the game on the spot. Nice, cool. So good. Give him a zap. I guess Cyrus still gets us. Because they could yank the Zera up. Because we don't clear the second Suicune in one go. So we'll only have 1 energy on it. Only do 110. And they're gonna be so many cards into their deck here at this point. Great. Not a things that are not Cyrus for 100. They could still have it. You know, there's gonna be what, 7 cards in their deck next turn? Am I dead yet? You could tell they had the Cyrus there because they took unnecessary game actions first. Always a sure side. We're going to play Marvel Sap today, absolutely. Got like another 15-20 minutes of pocket, and then we're going to kick out over to Snap In. Their balance changes last week were fantastic. Metagame's looking real good. Snap's live balance, just unmatched. They're very, very good at what they do. Grass Energy Pichu. Interesting combination. I think I've got like 1 or 2 more losses to be with this deck, and then we'll record an intro and kick over. Zeraora loves it a baby in the lead spot. Ho-Oh Celebi. That's an interesting call out. Yeah, it could be. It's a good suggestion of an archetype that would want grass energy and also a baby. I struggle to think of another in the metagame that could fit the description. The opponent is cooked, or should I say Claude? Man, Victory Bell is a real weird one to have with Pichu. Because it doesn't need energy. I guess it means you could attack turn 2 while going first, I suppose. Hey, what's going on, Llama? Good morning. Always stuff to try. We're already half finished with our current metagame. We're gonna have our mid-season Dex tier list roundup probably out tomorrow morning on the Pocket channel, and then come Friday we should have spoilers for the new set dropping next week. No, Pokemon Pocket is absolutely not a game that will do live balance. If they were going to do that, they would have done it by now. There's probably a reasonable chance that today's going to be my last Pocket live stream until the new cards drop. So I think I'll have room to do videos for the rest of this week. We're just in here. I'm gonna do one more loss with this deck. I think we'll kick over. I've got 2 deck highlights out of today's video, and then with a tier list and a new cards review, that'll get us through to the weekend. But we've definitely hit the part of the Pokemon Pocket lifecycle. Like the first week and a half to 2 weeks, Pocket content after cards release do pretty well, and this third week it starts to taper off pretty hard. I don't know. Maybe if the deck highlights do really well later this week, I'll reconsider that and we'll do some more. But last couple of deck highlights hit the typical like end of second week lull, and snaps, and plus snaps in a really good spot. They did one of their best OTA changes they've ever done. We've got a new limited time game mode coming on Thursday, so just a convenient point to do a little less Pocket, a little bit more snap. One's at a low point, one's at a high point. Morning, Travis. How does Raichu line up into Dragonite? It only does 150, so we need to get in a hit with something else first. I'm gonna thin basics out and then go digging for a X speed here, so we can get the Raikou into the active spot without burning an energy, ideally. Elemental Switch could also kind of do a X speed impersonation here, because I'm gonna spend my energy to move the Zera out, but then the Zeras provide energy for me to Elemental Switch up next turn, which is nice. They're just cooked here to a fast Elemental Switch. Don't have to worry about how your Pokemon line up into Dragonite when you're just like clearing it when they're a little baby. Good night, Gamer. How do the streams perform when you do Once Upon a Galaxy? The metrics for those are pretty comparable to Pocket. Maybe even a little bit better, while Pocket's in a little bit of a lull right now. We'll definitely be playing Once Upon a Galaxy tomorrow morning is the plan. I'll do 2 or 3 days of that a week. That's still one of my Once Upon a Galaxy and Dark Legion and Genshin Impact are probably the 3 things I've been playing the most off stream. So I'll weave in little bits and pieces of those consistently. And Once Upon a Galaxy's been great enough to sponsor, so little direct support means we can get them in a lot more frequently. Mill Take Enjoyer. Well, that's not very good for my... That's not very good for my Raichu. There's a Zera. Can I get a Raikou here? Perfect. So I get to reposition with this X speed, and then we just need to draw a an elemental switch in 2 cards to get attack with Raikou next turn. This card's so good. It's so good. This heals them 10 per turn. I forget where that one wants me to click. We're still gonna build Raichu here because 90 is more than 60, obviously. I assume with the water energy, there's a bunch of Iridas in our future. Just like all in on this dork. This is doing 70 next turn. Huh? So, Giovanni and Red both knock us out next turn. But if they're Giovanniing or Redding, they're not healing, which means the second Raikou could clean them, so... I think I do that. One, I don't have the Raichu queued up, and 2, I wouldn't be able to attack with it anyways, even if I did. So Potion would save them, though, because Potion plus Leftovers gets them to 70. Oh, yeah, Whitney heals a bunch, too. Them not having a knockout here this turn's a big deal, though. I've heard a lot of good things about Once Upon a Galaxy from other gaming communities I'm in. What is so good / different about it? I would say the big thing that's good / different about Once Upon a Galaxy is, for lack of a better term, they snapified that genre of game. They keep putting energy on this, which is a mistake. I'm gonna use my elemental switch here to play around Osiris. They snapified the auto battler gameplay, which is to say they basically optimized and removed some extra things while streamlining. They left the core good bits of the genre while streamlining a lot of the details around it. It's also completely asynchronous gameplay, so if you're someone like myself who has children, it's really easy to like start a match and then you can put it down in the middle if something comes up, etc., and come back to it. I guess you're getting a point. And then it also has it's nice to recommend a game where the monetization isn't atrocious. Also feels very good. It's a game where I don't feel bad when I like recommend to my non-gaming friends, hey, you should give this a try. Are we dead? I think we're dead. Both my switches are gone. Might be milked, gamers. Am I allowed to say that on Twitch, that we're milked? Surely. All right, are they milked? We're gonna milk this cow, chat. Good night. Got him. Sometimes lucky rubber ducky. How do I help you make money? I want somebody else. Yeah, I have an affiliate link for them. You can check them out. But no, because it's funny. I know, like, I do mobile game sponsorships where it's like, get to this level or complete these goals and stuff. And, like, the games that have that typically only have those specific types of goals because they're extra predatory. Once doesn't have, like, daily missions or stuff like that or specific, like, push it through the ringer. You just, like, load it up and play it because it's fun when you have time. Is there a reason you don't stream Genshin? I mean, largely I haven't streamed Genshin because I'm mostly like a one-game streamer for a long time. It's only more recently I've started branching out into more than one thing consistently. And we actually did Genshin on stream last week. We cleared my my theater and my Spiral Abyss on stream. I think it was Thursday morning to start or Friday morning. One of the days, Wednesday or Thursday last week. We'll probably do that again. It was reasonable. Articuno! There's a name I haven't heard in a long time. This is 18 Trader Articuno? What year is it? Man, I'm really glad this game evolved beyond this deck being a thing. What a dark and miserable time in its history. This match is probably pretty reasonable for us. I were to venture, I guess. If we had a second elemental switch, we could actually hit him with the Raichu next turn, which would be funny. So we can X speed this out, switch, put energy, and then crunch. Oh, they're Articuno Suicune. Sure. So not 18 Trader. I guess they could be one of each, but probably not. Yeah, so they got some stuff going on. Adricu, thank you for the absolutely massive membership bomb on the Pocket channel. 50 memberships is a lot. Good morning to you. You know, I never got around to playing New Doug Trio. There were a few people that poked at it inside of the various tournaments, but it never ended up doing any numbers. I think our water opponent has salted off that we're playing lightning cards. Or maybe they're back, I don't know. I already left. Morning, Jeff. I've been working remotely for a long time. Your streams helped me get by during the day. Well, thanks for supporting back and helping keep me around. Those bits of direct support are a big part of why I'm able to do what I do as a job. Well, after that, we're going to do a little bit extra pocket this morning. How's it going, traders? Raikou has been my #1 card for being a powerful off-meta pick into all of the Suicune running around on the ladder. And today's double Rai deck featuring Raichu as our secondary finisher actually propelled me up to 1675 points in the Master Ball ladder, locking me in to start at Ultra 4 for the next season. Elemental Switch is just so powerful in this archetype with our 2 copies of Zeraora. It allows you to start attacking with Raikou right away early, and when we use it in tandem with X speed, it can allow us to pivot into this low-end Raichu extra fast when our opponent's not expecting it. The Psychic attack on a low-end Raichu lines up really well into the Suicune archetype, lets you hit for 120 points of damage when they have 2 energy, which in tandem with weakness clears out Suicune's 140 HP in a single go. If you enjoy competitive off-meta decks like this one, make sure you're subscribed to Hoaglandia Pocket on YouTube so you don't miss any of the upcoming things that we'll be featuring here. If you like this particular brew, make sure you smash the like button on today's video. For the rest of the day, have fun with this one. Okay. Speaking of Doug Trio, with Edric being so generous, we're going to stick on Pokemon Pocket for a little bit more. I need to run an ad break, and I'm going to run upstairs and grab my lunch, and then when we get back, why don't we build Doug Trio? This Dorko can hit for 100 theoretically. All right, have some adverts. We're gonna brew at this when we get back. BRB. All right, who else do you want to play with Doug Trio? We need a high raw Pokemon count. And they need to be fighting dorks. Let's throw a 10 pull at the Pokemon Center Lady 2-star packs. Oh my! Thank you, Dilsky. Did I forget to load? I think I forgot to load. Pokegold up on here. Oh my! I forgot. I have 30 plus 48 hourglass. So I think that's one short. I need 4 more gold. All right. Hold, please. Hold, please. Well, that's interesting. It didn't kick me out. It didn't kick me out on my computer here. I logged into Pocket on my phone. All right. Right, I might need to reload. Ending game. There we go. Forcibly relaunch for me. Did my purchase not go through? Weird. Oh, I needed to click one more button. Okay. I believe it went through now. I probably need to relog though. I am currently playing Pocket using Moo Moo Player, which has been a lot more stable this patch, which is nice. Uh-oh. Did I foobar my account? No, we're good. We gotta be good, right? So this is my extra gold? Alright, cool. We're good. Nobody panic! Money has been successfully transferred to the Pokemon Company. You switched off LD Player. Yeah, when I reinstalled my computer, I decided to give Moo Moo a try, and it was functional. Moo Moo doesn't have any ads in it. What are we digging for? I want a full art Pokemon Center lady. And I was close. I had like half the pack points needed for it. So someone Duck donated for a bunch last week. And then Delsky just donated for us a little bit. I think after this 10 pull, we're a couple off. Someday, this will be very valuable trade fodder. Copium. People are going to want to trade for my copies of Red. Shiny, Dun Zone. Less so. All right. 100 packs off. Slow and steady. I think we've opened like 5 2-star traders from that set since we started hunting for the Pokemon Center lady, and none of them were her. Someone called out the suggestion of Tyrogue and Lucario with the Mars Shadow for the new Doug Trio. I think that sounds very reasonable. Now, which Diglett do we want? Probably just our full art Mud Slap boy, huh? I got both my full gold Pokeballs with pack points. Oof. Oof. That's rough, buddy. You know what's more rough, chat? The fact that the shiny Riolu is worse than the non-shiny Riolu. So also rough. Yeah, we'll throw a hiker in just to say we did. Oh, hiker's not in my favorites, believe it or not. Nice mace stun, bro. Thanks for being here for 71 months. My 10-year Twitch partnership. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. All right. Pokeball. Research. Definitely a Cyrus deck. Most of these have a retreat cost of 1. Yeah, I'm going to play at least an X speed so we can pivot to Tyrogue while going first. Yeah, Sabrina and a Geo. Okay, so for the people in the audience that aren't familiar with Pokemon Pocket's current meta staples, we can review Hiker and Doug Trio really quick here. So, Doug Trio says discard the top card of your deck. If it's a fighting Pokemon, this attack does 60 more, meaning you get to do 100 damage for 1 energy. And then Hiker says, for each fighting Pokemon in play, look at that many cards from the top of your deck and then put them back in any order. So Hiker can set up your Doug Trio or show you 4 cards and let you know that you're about to be majorly bricked. So no shuffle on him, just a reorder. Let's name our deck appropriately. Hop on into some matches, huh? Gilded! Congrats on 10 years on Twitch, and I've been around for half of that. You certainly have. Thank you for the 60 months. Appreciate it. Wicked, thank you for the 30 months. Appreciate the 2.5 years. Welcome back. Neither of those were the Riolu I wanted for Christmas. First time ever using Cliff Crumbler, discard Professor's Research. Going as expected, really. All right. Assuredly, the Cliff Crumbler hits and we get the knockout this time, yes? We're so good. Such a powerful Pokemon Pocket gamer we are. I don't know how likely this is to hit. 100% is the answer to the question, chat. Never misses. Never missed in my life. Certainly not about to start now. All right, we can pick which card is on top of our deck here. Put old Cyrus on top just in case. All right, gamers. I believe that makes the Doug Trio 1-0. Undefeated. Cracked, clearly. All right, we gotta stop here so we can post the YouTube video and have 100% win rate be accurate, yeah? Broke it. We beat 100% win rate against meta deck asterisk from 4 seasons ago. We'll put it in tiny print at the bottom of the thumbnail. I had someone comment on one of the deck highlights. They're like, this deck's kind of gimmicky. And I was like, my dearest gamer, this is Pokemon Pocket. There's like 3 playable decks in any given season, and everything else is a gimmick. That's just how it works. Congratulations on understanding. Do you still play Unite at all? I watch the Unite boys, Spraggles, Doob Snacks, and Zoinks cast Pokemon Unite Worlds every year for nostalgia purposes. And I always feel like, man, I kind of want to play this game again. But instead of actually playing it, I go watch Chris Heroes and Spraggles stream their solo queue games for a couple of hours. And that feeling completely leaves my body and is replaced with sense. They call me Mr. Stark. Thank you for the 33 months. Welcome back. You load it up and you listen to them talk about their teammates for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, an hour or two. I don't mind hanging out. They're good people. They're just like, yep, nope, not for me. Stay and gone. We now have a 200% win rate after beating Banu Sweet. That is how win rate works. I agree. Excellent. So long as we're all in agreement. The last time I played Unite, I think it was like... It was either 2 or 3 years ago at this point. My wife and I always played duos together. And we loaded up. We both loaded up. And we duoed to Masters together. And our first game into Masters, the lowest MMR person in our lobby auto-locked Absol and called center, and then proceeded to int into our opponent's side of the game for a 10 minutes straight, and we lost a game that was just completely unwinnable, 0% chance we could do anything better. And we kind of looked at each other and we're like, we're not doing this anymore, right? Nope. And we calmly shut it off and haven't launched it since. I'm going first, and I have a Tyrogue and a Diglett. Oh, baby. Ready to play some Slappy Knuckle, little Hoppip? Woo! And Riolu. We are cooking. we get to KO with this? I think we're dead, Gibbers. I think we're dead. I guess we only need maybe and so the Doug trio trades here. I don't think the Lucario clears the jump bluff though, right? Wait for it. Wait for it. All right, Doug Tree, I'm gonna need you to crumble this cliff for me, baby. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, Cyrus and a prayer. Oh, no. No. Not the lily! No! Oh, oh man, this is really weird. My game client like crashed or disconnected or something. I guess that one just must not count. Clearly, I mean, it wasn't on stream when it said we lost, so I'm pretty sure we're still undefeated. I was watching a creator for this game one time who had a win streak counter on their overlay, and they queued into someone, and the opponent conceded on the first turn of the game without taking any game action. The creator just shrugged and was like, we take those, and incremented their win streak counter by 1. And I was just like, oh man. Because like, I obviously know that like, those types of things are very silly and nonsense to count. Like there's no reason other than to really be misleading to put it up there, but it's just like, LOL. That was even back before rank, so it wasn't even like they got extra MMR from it. It was just, well, what if we just counted it to say we hit it? Our Tyrogue's a murderer, chat. There's no way around it. Actually, we're gonna make Riolu a murderer. I'm gonna make Riolu a murderer. Otherwise, Tyrogue gets knocked out by Jigglypuff. Someone asked, are the pretzels a hummus delivery device? They are, yeah. I got a little pasta salad today, too. We've got some pine nut hummus, a little pasta salad, and some cherry tomatoes. Jeff is a hummus vacuum machine. I am, yeah. My go-to lunch. Decent non-meat protein source. Which days do you typically play Snap first? It's usually pretty rare that I put Snap first in my schedule. The way it works for min-maxing viewer count numbers, usually you want to put the lower viewer count game at the start of the stream, so Snap's my highest viewership game that I stream, so usually it's second. What brand of hummus? I don't know that I'm particularly attached to a specific brand. Sabara is the one I am currently consuming in front of me, but I don't really have any, like I said, any emotional attachment to it. Ooh, second Riolu. Is Hiker not good enough for this Dugtrio deck? I've got Hiker. Put him in, put him in. No, I'm learning about the ethicalness of my hummus. I didn't want to know about the ethicalness of my hummus. Noted for the future. I'm dead. I should have played the Tyrogo. But we might have been able to beat this if I would have played the Tyrogo, but without my Dugtrio or my Lucario, I can't kill the what's it called next turn. Hey, Jeff, how's your workout sessions lately? Can you motivate me to go to the gym today? Only you can motivate you to go to the gym, gamer. You gotta... Your progress isn't gonna work by itself. Actually, we just did new maxes testing for my lifting routine that my buddy and I do together, and I plateaued really hard on bench. I only went from 170 up to 175 after like 3.5, 4 months, so I've added 100 push-ups a day into my routine on top of my 2 to 4 workout days per week. So we're gonna see how that goes for a cycle, and then go from there. I started at the beginning of the month, so I'm at, we're 15 days into 100 push-ups a day. When are you gonna add 10 push-ups per loss on stream? I'm not trying to die, gamers. What adjustments would you make to make Pokemon Pocket streams more popular? I've seen a huge drop in the numbers from the start. I mean, there's no denying that the Pocket metrics are literally the lowest they've ever been. If anything, I'm grateful for the people that still show up to my streams, because my Pocket numbers have fallen off less than a number of other content creators have. Oh my goodness, this is awful. I guess we'll Pokeball to shuffle it. World's jankiest ponder. On both platforms. So YouTube doesn't have an objective thing for me to measure on their side because they don't have an API like Twitch, but anecdotally all of the biggest Pocket streamers like Godsley and stuff, every time I've clicked into their streams, they're down lower than what they used to be. And like I said, that's not unique to them. The category as a whole, like I talked about, right? Like it's funny to me. So like I made that video before I took my month break from Pocket, talking about how Pokemon Pocket content metrics fell off at a really fast rate compared to other games I've made content for in the past. And it really made me chuckle when I came back to play some more Pocket, because I was enjoying the games again, that people were like, oh, you came back for the money. Because I really can't emphasize enough that, like, if you're in a position like myself and you want to make content to make money, playing multiple games at once is one of the absolute worst things you could be doing. If my goal was to only maximize the amount of money I was making while streaming, I would be streaming nothing but Marvel Snap all of the time, which is what I did for a long time. You know, like for two straight years, I did that, and then for the years before that, I streamed basically only Magic the Gathering, because I was having fun with the games, but they were also you know, maximizing my revenue. This is my job. And I'm honestly fortunate to be in a position where, you know, like I can choose to give up some revenue to play games that I enjoy, like Pocket. And occasionally Genshin we've been throwing in, or Dark Legion, and other things like that. Once Upon a Galaxy, I mentioned that that's sponsored is one of the reasons why we do it more frequently, because the sponsorship helps offset those lower metric numbers. Someone said, when I looked this morning in the EU, the Pocket category only had about 20 people streaming it. And so looking at, and this is why I said there's no objective measure for the YouTube side, because like looking at one individual metric, like one individual snapshot, is like not a good use of data. And for people who are familiar with me, I have a graduate degree and undergraduate degree in mathematics. I spent time teaching stats and other things at the high school and college level. I also spent a short stint doing data analytics at a Fortune 50 company for a little while after grad school. So you really should look at bigger samples, but even the bigger sample numbers for Pocket are a little scuffed, yeah? So like for the last 30 days, the entire Pocket category on Twitch has had about 345 average viewers, which the number you really want to look at is what percentage changes that, which is compared to the 30 days before this, it's a 43% drop. I think it was April or May of this year was the peak. I think it was April. So April had averaged 1,400 concurrent viewers for the category. And then May is relatively stable. Like a 4% change month over month is like really stable. And then June had a big drop off at 46% drop off. And then July was a 19% drop off after that. And then August was sorry, site spinning for a second. What month did I take off? I forget. And then another 21%, another 21% in August. And then if we look at so this is all of August, is 460 days. If we look at just the last 14 days, so this is just September. So just September so far is another, you know, 30% or so down from what August was. I also, and like I talked about this in the Pocket metrics video that I made forever ago before I took my break. Pokemon Pocket as a game is not going anywhere for the foreseeable future. This game made $1 billion with a B in 7 months. That's faster than Pokemon Go made $1 billion. I would be absolutely shocked if Pokemon Pocket doesn't exist as a game for at least as long as Pokemon Go, which is like 5 to 10 years from now. Hey, Jeff, can I get your thoughts and idea? What if promo set A ends on the first year anniversary and they start promo set B? I think that's almost certainly the case, Topper, that the promo sets will be per year. And then we can trade cards when new packs release. Maybe we get to trade. We trade cards when new pack release. Can we trade promo set A when promo set B launches? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, Topper. In fact, something I speculated about from we were talking about it last week, and I wouldn't be surprised if when set B drops, if when set B drops, they make 2 stars tradable from set A. Like there would be or like when set B1 drops, 2 stars become tradable from A1, and set B2 drops, 2 stars become tradable from B2. Like I think that's probably, they mentioned they're considering ways. They've considered ways to add trading to those, and I think making them timed exclusive longer. They're never going to make them tradable a month later. But I think that longer, like a year, is probably a drag, so people can finish their older collections through trading is probably fine. I think he provides some of the best commentary and understanding of the game. Lots of other people tend to be too opinionated and vibes-based. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm very opinionated too. And I just think one thing that I try to make clear is when, like, and this is like, you know, talking about data here on the site is a good example. I always try to make it very clear to my audience when I'm giving an opinion and when I'm presenting data and then giving context around the data. But even context around data is very subjective, right? Like, data is objective, but data is useless without skilled interpretation of it. So if you don't have someone that, like, knows what they're doing. And for people speculating on, well, what can data do to bring numbers back up? I mean, part of it is just implementing Twitch drops properly. Like, that was, do you anyone remember what month they did Twitch drops? Was it, I think it was May, right? I'm pretty sure it was May, because May, I commented that Pokemon Pocket Twitch drops were the first time I ever saw a game implement Twitch drops but lose viewership month over month still. Or was it June? I forget. It was May or June. Maybe it was June. I feel like there was a big drop off on drops month. And part of that is they didn't promote it, right? For people who have never played Marvel Snap or other games, like when they do drops, they promote it in the client. Like, if they did a round of Twitch drops for Pokemon Pocket and there was, like, a notification in the mail thing, like when all the other game updates happen, it would pump a ton into it. Does Dina care about viewership for the game? Probably not, honestly. And I think that's part of it too. I think, you know, and as a good comparison to, like, my other game, because, like, all games lose viewership over time, right? But I talked about how, like, Marvel Snap is, like, my most successful game in terms of content recently. And Marvel Snap, by no means, has incredible numbers. But you got to remember, Marvel Snap is 3 years old at this point, right? And Marvel Snap hasn't been doing Twitch drops either because they hit a technical issue when they changed to self-publishing. So, like, this is, to give like a month-to-month comparison, Marvel Snap 3 years later doesn't have amazing viewership, but it's actually outperforming where Pocket is not even a year in. And I think this is a pretty, you know, pound to pound comparison because there's no Twitch drops or anything funky going on for either of those. They stopped doing drops because of something that was partially outside of their control, but yeah. I don't know. I'm a data junkie. I don't mind talking about mucking around in the numbers on occasion, but I'm not. I plan to follow my heart. I'm enjoying Pocket for the most part. I think the current cycle that I've been in of doing plenty of Pocket for the first couple of weeks and then into the third week, and then we take a chill on the last week of the season when things are at their absolute lowest, and then the new cards come out and we pick it back up again. If you had to start your content journey now, would you do anything different? I mean, I don't think I would be successful starting as a content creator now. So Shadowverse Worlds Beyond is a weird one to do viewership for because one, their viewership is down as expected. But two, most of their viewership is non-English. And, like, while every game has some non-English viewership, like, their non-English viewership is huge. So, like, they've had their August numbers where they had, they're going to be much bigger than Pocket and Snap. Yeah, they average 6,800 average viewers for August. But if you look at what their most watched categories were, none of these are English. How far down do you have to scroll to find it English under most watched? The most watched English streamer is 28th. Good to see. There's a lot of the old LOR guys picked up Shadowverse, which doesn't surprise me. And, like, they average, you know, less than 300 viewers. I started here primarily with Snap, but I've appreciated your expanding review of games. Yeah. And Grappler actually said recently he's taken a break until they balance or do new content. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That's why I dropped Shadowverse. Like, again, Shadowverse is similar to Pocket, like, where my numbers were fine, but not amazing. But their game balance is just bad. And I've said this about Pocket before. I think Pocket would be a better game if they did balance passes occasion. But I actually think Pocket's balance record to date is really good, given that they've refused to do balance passes. So, you know, obviously it's not perfect, but I think the range of decks, that our metagames have had pretty consistently are much better than a lot of other games that don't do balance passes. Did your popularity go up or down when you stopped playing Magic? So when my Magic tapered off, we fell off for a while, but my two years doing Marvel Snap as my primary game in 2023 and 2024 are my biggest years of content to date. Well, Pocket Metrics here for one more minute because, you know, it's fun to reminisce. But so what was it? So 2019 and 2020 were the biggest years I did Magic content. I averaged 1,400 viewers for 2019, and then I forgot 2020 fell off that much. 2020 was 852. You see, this was a big jump up. This was 80% bigger than my average before. And then 23 and 24 were the years I did Marvel Snap full time. And for my first year doing Marvel Snap, I averaged almost 2,200 viewers. And the second year we averaged about 1,900, which is a small drop off, but pretty nominal within 10%, all things considered. And actually the 2024 I did mostly Pocket at the end of it, yeah. We did a lot of Pocket towards the end too. So this wasn't even just Snap. I bet if you look at this from not including these months where I did more variety games, this would be higher. That 10% drop off is in no small part because I picked up Pocket. Do you think that wasn't due to the pandemic? So, Twitch as a whole, as a platform, actually, okay, I said this was the last data. This is actually a fun history lesson. So this is all of Twitch. Twitch as a whole actually exploded during COVID. So this is all of Twitch as a platform for 2020. Their average viewers went up 70% almost. This is all of Twitch as a platform. So Magic content was at its tail end because Magic Arena was like 2 years old at that point, so it was like kind of in the where Marvel Snap's at in its life cycle, like it had tapered off. And I think Twitch grew in 2021 again as well, if I recall correctly. I think the drop off was a year or two later. Yeah, it grew 31%. It grew 31% year over year in 2021. And I think 22 and maybe 23 were nominal drop-offs, but it was still much bigger than it was before the pandemic. Yeah, there were a bunch of people trying to say like Twitch was dying because it had a 7% drop-off year over year inside of 22, and then a 5% drop-off year over year in 23, and then a 3% drop-off year over year in 24. But it's like it had such a massive increase compared to 2019. So it's like, yeah. So like, and it's just the typical capitalism. The line must always go up. Like it went up 70% and then 30% year over year. And then it dropped off 7 and then 5 and then 3. So even last year, 2024, it's actually almost 100% bigger than what the average was in 2019. So it had two insane years of growth and then dropped nominally 3 years in a row. Yeah. That's fun. If anybody wants to dick around inside of these metrics for themselves, this is a website called Sullydome. Twitch is a fully public API for everything except subscriber counts are publicly available on the Twitch API. So you can check out average viewer counts and all those other types of things over different history. And Sullydome's a community site that taps into the API and lets you easily parse them like that. Do you think this year is going to see a bigger drop with the bot crackdowns and everything? I don't actually know. So we're pretty far into this year. So I take one more look here before we take our ad break. So for the last 180 days, the last 6 months of 2025, Twitch has averaged 2.2 million approximately. And it looks like that's a little bit down from last year. So we're probably going to see a little bit of a drop off, but not a lot. Probably going to be another nominal. Like, what's the last 30 days? Oh, this is okay. So this is down like 15-ish%. Hard to know. I don't know. I think things like that mostly don't matter. There's lots of fun stuff. All right, I'm gonna tap an ad break. I'm gonna go throw my leftover pasta salad and hummus upstairs in the fridge. And when we get back, we're gonna do another data dive of a little bit different variety. We're gonna dig through some untapped stats on Marvel Snap and see where things are at after the OTA, and then we're gonna play some games in that game. Thanks everybody who's here bright and early first in Pocket. There were 2 deck highlights on the Hooglandia Pocket channel over the weekend. If you missed those, we'll have a mid-season meta report up tomorrow morning, I think, for Pocket, and then we'll be back later with more for that. But stay tuned on the Twitch side for more Snap this afternoon. BRB.